What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? Man, tell me y'all seen Assar Thompson the last couple games. Tell me y'all seen my man Assar Thompson the last couple games. For those of y'all who've been following my channel, you already know what it is. You already know what it is. Assar Thompson is him. See, let me wait for a few people to get up in here. What's good, y'all? What's good? Yeah. Assar and Cade are my favorite play. Yo, hey, bro, we don't even know when this team hits its final form with Cade and Assar. And I'm gonna do another video on Duran. I'm gonna do another video on Duran because what I saw last night, bro, I seen this man bend against a three-point shot attempt, close out, retreat, cut off the offensive player attempting to drive to the basket. There was a kick out. He switched onto a perimeter player, I believe it was Matas Buzelis, who then tried to shoot during, contested the shot, stayed down so that when Matas Buzelis pump faked and tried to drive, he hit him off until he had to kick it out. That sequence alone, close out, retreat, close out, stopping the three-point attempt, and retreat and cutting off a defender, moving your feet. There was a level of footwork, a level of anticipation and understanding that Duran showed in that sequence alone that deserves his own video. It deserves another video. And I'm gonna get into that. Well, what's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? Assar Thompson. I want to know some of your thoughts. Give me your favorite either moment from Assar Thompson the past few games and winning streak, or give me one aspect of his game that you like the most about Assar Thompson. Drop it for me in the comments section because we're going to get into all of it in this video. For me, I think a lot of people have to separate the Thompson twins and say like, oh, Amin Thompson is this, Assar Thompson is this. In terms of their game, very little difference. Very little difference. There is very little that we've seen from Amin Thompson that he can do that Assar Thompson can't do. Let's just start with that. And I've said that repeatedly from the very beginning. From the very beginning, I said there is nothing Amin Thompson can do that Assar Thompson cannot do. And some of y'all were going with this pre-draft narrative. And you have to be careful about these ESPN narratives. They will lead you astray every single time. Like if you see Stephen A. Smith saying it, just pause, put a pin in it, and go watch for yourself if you have the bandwidth to do so. These players are far more than many times what ESPN acknowledges them as or what's taking place. Assar Thompson. Assar Thompson is a mix between these two players, Sean Marion and Andre Iguodala. That's who Thompson is. That's who Assar Thompson is. I would say Amin Thompson is more of a mix of Andre Iguodala and Penny Hardaway. He's Penny without the shooting. But you've seen Amin has been far more apropos to taking shots, where I think Assar Thompson is trying to master just getting to the rim and finishing and scoring. I appreciate that approach. I don't think at all they're going to tell him not to shoot threes. I think right now they're saying, look, master getting to the rim and scoring and effectively helping us win now as you develop this jump shot. Yo, what's good, y'all? Y'all just jumping in the chat right now. Oh, your connection is a little laggy. Okay. Are you able to hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you're able to hear me. Give me a thumbs up. All this to say, how they are developing Assar Thompson is very different because it's in terms of need. But we're seeing some things take place. The reason why Houston is letting Amin Thompson play more point guard, one is because Fred VanVleet is out and Aaron Holiday is not a starter. And the first round pick from last year, Reed Shepard, is not ready. And so Ahmed Thompson is getting a lot of those minutes. And Jalen Green, this team needs a setup guy. They do. And I think it's just going to be great for Ahmed Thompson's breakout this season. It's a little bit Detroit. Detroit doesn't need a full-time point guard. Yeah, ball handling, drives, and kickouts should be his focus more so than his shot right now. And I think we've talked about that a lot early on the season. And I said to a lot of people, look, don't judge Assar Thompson's progress and how he's starting off because he hasn't been able to train since last spring all the way through November when he was cleared to play and he was able to ramp back up. So he's going to be a little bit off in terms of rhythm. And we see now that he's finding his rhythm. And that's where we're seeing a far different outlook or outcome in terms of his stats, in terms of his actual finishing and his playmaking ability, right? He was moving too fast for his own handle. But you saw the confidence was, this is my game. I know I do this. I just have to get my rhythm at this speed because it's hard to prepare for NBA intensity and speed and competition. Yo, what's good, y'all? The question I'm asking is, what was your favorite moment of Assar Thompson over this 3-game stretch? Your favorite moment? Maybe it was that full court lob from Cade and reverse dunk attempt. Was him blazing down the court and then throwing the lob to Jalen Duren. Maybe it was Duren throwing him a lob. Maybe it was the Tim Hardaway Jr. fast break kick out, passed it to Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway Jr. threw it back up and he caught it and reverse jammed it. Let me know your favorite moment of Assar Thompson over the last 3-game stretch. Mine was actually in this last game where there was a rebound to be had. He was getting boxed out by, I want to say, Matas Buzelis, and fought around the box out, ripped it from Matas Buzelis, but Josh Giddey was there who grabbed it, and Assar Thompson kept hounding Giddey and actually was able to rip it from him. 2 guys. He ripped it from 2 guys for that offensive rebound. And you know what he did? You want to know the great point? Was the game beforehand, he got that steal. It was a great steal. He ripped the ball handler, saved it from out of bounds, but then Nicholas pass on an outlet and turned it back over. And he's done that a few times where he's made a great defensive play, but then turned the ball back over. Seeing him make a great defensive play and say, you know what? Instead of just forcing a pass, if I don't see anybody, I'm just going to keep it and dribble it out. He maintained the possession. That shows he's processing. He's figuring it out. Let me see. It was the tip pass to Duren for sure. Oh, yeah, that was a great lob at full speed. Full speed. He was blazing down that court. Matter of fact, another question, who did Jaden Ivey or Assar Thompson in the open court? Who do you think is faster, Jaden Ivey or Assar Thompson? Which is a scary comparison in terms of speed. That's like who's faster, Jalen, Derrick Rose, Russell Westbrook in their prime, right? Crazy. That pass to Tobias after drawing Tobias defender. Oh, by cutting, leading to a wide open 3. Yeah, that was a dope moment. Duren passed it off to Thompson. Thompson wheeled around and kicks it out with one hand out to the perimeter for Tobias Harris for the wide open 3. Yeah. Oh, that's tough. Are you leaning towards Jaden Ivey? I would too, slightly. But I think Assar is right there in terms of speed. But those two on the break. Look, watch some of my earlier videos. I think I'm gonna put it in the whatchamacallit section. I'll throw it in there. To say, to get back to Assar Thompson, how they're developing him differently in Detroit. Some of y'all have already commented on it. They're asking him to focus on his ball handling and getting to the rim and finishing. That's what this team needs with those shooters. They need somebody else who can draw defenders. Assar has long strides. Yeah, he does. Each strides, he's bounding down the court. Similar to what Iguodala or even Sean Marion, if y'all know the Matrix reference from back in the day. But in Detroit, I think what is unique that is allowing him to explore the whole point forward ability, which I've constantly said he is a point forward, is that Cade, when he is encumbered with too much ball handling responsibility, he gets sloppy. And there are times that he has mental lapses. And having Assar Thompson on the court unconsciously reminds him he can force it. In fact, he can allow someone else to bring it up, which is generally what you see happen. If a point guard, if he turns it over, like in the open court, he gets ripped at the top of the key, makes a bad pass, somebody else steals it, they generally let somebody else bring it up the next time. And they're like, My bad. Let me reset. You got it. I'm going to get off the ball. Maybe I'm tired. I'm take a breather, get my wits about me, and then I'm going to come back. Most of the time, Cade doesn't have that guy to defer to carry the load. And so you see sometimes Cade will compound turnovers 1, 2, 3 in a row, and it gets really bad. That's the importance of having Jaden Ivey. It's the importance now of having an Assar Thompson point forward. Now, in terms of reevaluating, and this is really what I want to get into in the meat of this live, what do you think his ceiling is? Put in the comment section, what do you think Assar Thompson's ceiling is? And if you're enjoying this video, definitely smash that like button for me and hit subscribe. And share it, because I want to dive into all this. We want to have a live discussion. What do you think Assar Thompson's ceiling is for these Detroit Pistons? I think I said from the beginning, I think he's a star in the making. He's a star in the making. There are certain things, there are certain attributes. I remember when the Boston Celtics were looking at Jaylen Brown. One of the things that they said was they weren't sure what his outlook was going to be. His ceiling is endless. I think so too. The Boston Celtics, they were quoted as saying like they weren't sure about what Jaylen Brown would be, but they looked at the metrics, the physical metrics of what he brought to the table. And they said, if you combine this with work ethic, his outlook are superstar. And they said, so they drafted based upon the metrics of that potential. 6'7", close to a 40-inch vertical, explosive athlete, long wingspan, and shooting mechanics and some shot creating ability. And they said, look, with these physical attributes and what he's already shown, he has the highest potential of anyone else. And so they drafted Jaylen Brown, and look what he became, NBA Finals MVP. A more athletic DeRozan with Defensive of the Year potential. Oh, that's interesting. I never thought about that. Those of y'all just jumping in. What do you think Assar Thompson's ceiling is? His ceiling. There's no player like Assar. I would say his brother. Amen Thompson is like Assar Thompson. My comparison was Andre Iguodala and Sean Marion. That was right. A Sean Marion and a point forward's skill set. The Sean Marion athleticism at 6'7". People may not remember him. Yeah, Assar has a crazy high IQ for his age. I've said that over and over. His feel for the game is uncanny. I noticed that immediately in Summer League when he was a rookie. I said found him. He has a very high understanding of the game of basketball. He knows position. He knows his own. It's crazy. I'm gonna make this statement, and y'all let me know what you think, and if it makes sense. He does and he doesn't know just how good he is. He knows how athletic he is to make certain plays, but he doesn't yet just how dominant he can be at this level in his physical tools. I think he's figuring out, he's learning it, but he doesn't realize just how dominant he can be. Like his athleticism, I'm gonna be real with y'all, is like Kobe Bryant, Tracy McGrady, those guys, that elite 1%. And he doesn't quite recognize yet just what that means. When Jaden Ivey comes back, we start him again and Assar to forward and Tobias to the bench. That is a great question, Tony. That is a great question. For sure, when Jaden, that spot's already going to be vacant because I don't think they're re-signing Tim Hardaway Jr. So factor that. Tobias, I think, has a role still unless they make the move that I actually want the Detroit Pistons to make, which is to go after Jabari Smith Jr. Go after Jabari Smith Jr. I don't think Houston wants to retain him past a certain price point. I don't think they want to give him over maybe 18 a year. And I think Detroit can grab a Jabari Smith Jr. at about 21, 22 mil a year. Maybe they might have to go up to 25. But it would be worth it. It would be worth it. Let me get to some of these other statements. Dante, I can see his range can improve to be unguardable. Looking at that short turnaround fade, he likes, yeah, I love it when he's streaking across the paint and he's fading away. The question I'm asking everybody is, what do you think a ceiling can be? Because this is the point of this video. We have to reassess it. Because prior metrics, outlooks for him, we have to throw that out the window. This is a point forward. This is a point forward. The way he's playing, he's Scottie Pippen right. He's literally Scottie Pippen right now. As he's a young Scottie Pippen right now. Bigger, stronger, far more physical. He's a young Scottie Pippen. Let me see. Dante also said, I think that Philly game is confidence for sure. I also think the first game against Chicago, where he went right into Montas Buzelis' chest and banged on him with two hands at the beginning of the game. I think that was a moment that shifted in his mindset. He's like, well, when I run around guys, I can run through some guys. You also seen him do it to Darius Garland in Cleveland. You realize he could just run through some guys with his speed. He gets angle, and once he gets the angle, puts that shoulder into him. He's strong enough. He's athletic enough. Let me see. Dante also said, I would keep Tobias and Jada takes tomorrow Jr. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What do you guys think of Assar Thompson's ceiling is? Get at me in the comment section. Ari unfortunately looks like the odd man out because of Tari Eason. Facts. Well, also you have to recognize they already gave close to max money to Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green, which means that they don't really have as much cap space, considering that Fred VanVleet has an opt-out, a player option. They may have to restructure that contract and extend his shooting. And I think he goes into like more of a six-man role or playing alongside Amen Thompson, who has to start. And Dylan Brooks just does so much for them in terms of his shooting and defense. I think that's kind of the lineup future. So maybe more of a forward, power forward. And then with Tari Eason, it's like you have so much there. It's hard to then say, I'm going to pay Jabari Smith Jr. to be this kind of backup, right? To take an Isaiah Stewart role, which is the role that they would have for him. Chandler says, it's the small things that make a big difference with Assar. He knows where the ball goes. For example, on rebounds, balls, he's everywhere. Yes, he does. It's not just he knows where it is. He also knows how to utilize his athleticism to get there. If you watch, he never stops moving his feet. He never stops moving his feet on loose balls and rebounds. Like, unless that ball is secure in somebody's hands, and even then, he will chase it. He will hound it, knowing what he's doing defensively. He's speeding that person up. He's taking them out of, let's get into my offense, and he gets them into rushing down the court to get away from him. Accelerating the pace, not thinking about play calling, not thinking about distributing, setting up an offense. He's rushing the offensive player simply by continuing to move his feet from the point of a shot to the rebound to trying this guy into a bad decision, in which case other guys are playing passingly, which I think is going to put Jaden Ivey's defense next year. He's going to learn how to start playing off of that. They're really going to start. I think they're going to start. Bro, let me know what y'all think of this. I think Cade, Assar, and Ivy can become what we saw, I would say at least defensively, from Mike Scottie Pippen and Ron Harper. Some of y'all may not be old to remember the Chicago Bulls championship run, the second three-peat. Jordan, Pippen, and Harper were monsters. Absolute monsters defensively. 6'6", 6'6", 6'7". Jaden Ivey, 6'5", Cade Cunningham, 6'6", Ausar Thompson. Their ability to defend on the perimeter has all-time potential. All-time. And if they can go after somebody like a Jabari Smith Jr. this offseason, smash the like button for me if you guys are there. I want you to put in the comment section what you think Assar Thompson's ceiling is. Or you think it's faster, Assar Thompson or Jaden Ivey. I think that combination of those three would be absolute terrorists on the perimeter. Absolute terrorists. When you think about what Assar Thompson is able to do, watch how many times he does this. He will bottle up a primary ball handler at half court. At half court. Literally. Literally. He will stop Josh Giddey. He will stop SGA. He will stop. You're not getting past half court. Yeah, Tony says, yes, extremely physical, like you said, for young Ron Artest. He's a young Ron Artest with a 40-inch vertical, right? Like that's how incredible of a defensive player he is. When he gets his stamina really up, and really what he's starting to learn, he's actually beginning to slow down. If you watch Assar Thompson, he's slowing down and knowing when to apply pressure. when to apply energy, when to like he's learning to be very intentional so he can pace himself. I think at the beginning of the season, he just wanted to get his wind back. So he just run myself to that wall, run myself to that wall so he can begin to expand and push that wall, really get his cardiovascular endurance back. If Assar gets a jumper, he's going to be something we've never seen before, for sure, for sure. And I think if we look at what Sean Marion was able to do throughout his career, and in combination with Andre Iguodala, I think that's what we're going to see from him. I don't think he's ever going to be the pure scorer that we see like a Cade Cunningham or Jaden Ivey. I don't think he's going to be that level of. He does. I don't know. I don't think he has the mentality for that. He's so skilled and diverse. He's closer to what James was than a Michael Jordan, where like LeBron knew he could score and understood his responsibility to score, and he was going to score. And he also understood his responsibility to everyone else. I keep criticism for days with those three. Yeah, I like the Jordan Pippen Harper comparison for sure, for sure, for sure. Okay, I want you guys to answer me this. What do you think Assar Thompson's ceiling is? Like in his peak, I'm talking like 26, 27 through like 30, 32. What do you think his peak stat line is going to be? Points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, shooting splits, comment section. When I look at how Assar Thompson is playing right now, how much ball handling responsibilities he's taking on, it's everything that I thought he was going to be. When I saw him at the beginning of last season, everything that I kind of saw in that time, I was like, I think he's going to be something special. Like I think he's like for real. Like his ability to play point guard with his feel for the game, I think was something that I can look at and say like, yo, he can end up being the perfect complement within Cade, Duran. Yeah, somebody get artifacts out of here. Somebody just go ahead and report the bad. I ain't got no time for no stupidness. You know, yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna go like this. I ain't got no time. Yeah, yeah. Hang on, we're going like this. Bam. I ain't got no problem. Yeah, I don't do that. Yeah, because I'll smack the shit out of you. I'm not the type of dude. Some of these cats, man. Stat line. Um, Prime Assar, 29 and 8 while averaging 4 stocks. I could see that. 29 and 8. Okay, 28 and 10. 3 steals, 3 blocks. Prime Assar, 22, 8, and 5. 1.5 to 2 steals. Okay, got a little bit less assists. Assar needs a mid-range jumper, maybe 35% from 3. Yeah, 17, 9, and 9. What's crazy is he generates offense at such a high level. And my man Cool did a video on how he generates offense. He's got 22, 7, and 9. I like that. 7 assists, 9 rebounds, 3.5 steals, 1.5 blocks. I, I like the person who said 4 stocks. 4 stocks is somewhere I would definitely land. 4 steals and blocks somewhere in there. We have like 2 and 2, a little bit over 2 steals, with maybe 1.5, blocks type of deal. It really depends upon who they get at power forward. I think if Assar has less of a responsibility to rebound. And there's a difference between responsibility to rebound and your ability to rebound. When you have a responsibility to rebound, it limits you in some ways. It limits you in some ways. I think he can get to 17.99 next season. Ooh, he said next season. I got him somewhere next season, probably around like 17, 7 and 6. 7 and 6. But he might be at the end of this season. Wouldn't be shocked. So 17.99 may not be that far away because he's definitely a LeBron James type. where he generates so much offense, he's going to get to 7, 8, 9, 10 assists easy. Easy because he has gravity. And this is something I've talked about many times on my channel. So guys have gravity. Ivy has gravity. Cade has gravity, where the defense has to shift towards you. It has to position itself to be able to stop you collectively, like not just individually, but as a group. As a it's going to take like you notice there's certain players, they say you're not going to stop them one-on-one. You have to guard the team. Guys have to know what their responsibilities are. But the problem is when you have multiple guys, that's where it's like it's game over. It's game over. This is why people were putting together big threes in the back in the day, or a duo, AD and LeBron, right? Nikola Jokic and Jamari has some gravity too, especially when he was in his prime championship year, right? You look like a Shaq and Penny. You had Jordan and let's say Pip, like they had this ability to draw defenders. Let me get to some of these comments. I could really see the Pistons doing what the Hawks did in 2021 and making it to the year. Oh, the Bucks won, depending upon how well this core can develop if he gets back. Yeah, I think next year for sure, this team is focused on advancing in the playoffs. And let me know, I'm curious you guys' thoughts. What is the ceiling for this team next season when Ivy gets back? Let's just keep it at next season. Let's just keep it at next season. Smash for me, by the way, if you guys are in the comment section. This is definitely an interactive channel. I think when Ivy gets back and we see Ivy and Assar Thompson and Cade working in conjunction, one, I think it's going to unlock Cade to just be a dominant ass scorer. He's just going to be a dominant ass scorer. He's going to be able to pace himself differently. His defense is going to be elevated. Ivy as well, because none of them is going to have to be on the ball all the time. And both of them are fantastic off the ball. Did you see how many times Assar was bringing up the ball last game and Cade was just able to run to the corner? Started off plays in the corner. We've never seen that. We've never seen that, really. Like, when Cade is on the court, he's always on ball, or he's near the ball. He's next to the ball. For the first time, he's just sitting in the corner and, oh, you got this. You want some pick and roll with Duran or Tobias Harris? Dope. Pick and pop. Okay, do your thing. Kicking it out to Bees? Yeah, knock that down. Playing off the ball. Resting. Rest. When your superstar can rest in the game, it changes things. It changes things entirely. Entirely. You got 4th seed for the Detroit Pistons next year. You will get burned if you double team Cade next season with Ivy and Assar. Facts. Let me get to this. Jerome, you said, do you think we get connect from Lakers, giving them Tim Hardaway Jr.? No. Fontecchio and some picks? No. No, there's no reason to do that. No reason to do that at all. If y'all have a topic of discussion you want for the group, drop me a super chat. If you drop me a super chat, we will take 5 minutes and just talk about it. Let's get to some of these other comments. 4th seed next season. Okay. I could see a 4th seed next season. Of course, I'm saying during the offseason. Yeah, got you. 3rd seed. Ooh, 3rd seed next season. I could see that. I can actually see that because teams that I see taking a step back, I think Boston will be there. Cleveland will be there. Outside of those two, up in the air. I think the Pistons are better than New York. I think they're better than the Knicks. I think Cade's already better than Wayne Brunson. And I think the key players have far gravity than anybody else on that Knicks team. I don't really think anybody on the Knicks team really has gravity like that. He has great talents. But Brunson, you're not really, like, it does, even if he eats. That's why he keeps eating, because nobody looks at him and goes like, are you really doing this? Are you really doing this? 3rd seed next season. Okay. I think the Pistons can be as good as Boston next. Ooh, I think so. I think Detroit next year. And in the comment section, let me know what you think the ceiling is for this team next season with Jaden Ivey's return. Ivy, Cade, and Assar. and what we're seeing from now. That's going to be another video another day, probably tomorrow maybe, because Cade's defense was better with Ivy on the floor, as he had Ivy as a consistent scoring relief. Facts. I think what we see here is Ivy becomes the point of attack, or based upon who's bringing it up. But Ivy can be an amazing point of attack on opposing point guards, and Assar playing passing lanes, and also the wing defender. I think Detroit will have two shut down perimeter defenders in Ivy, Assar, and that's going to change the game for the league. It's going to change the game. I think next season, Detroit is going to be what Oklahoma City was last season, where they just look scary. The only thing stopping them is experience. That's why I think making the playoffs this year is going to be so important. I want to get to the rest of these comments. Once again, if you drop me a super chat, we will spend 5 minutes and just about whatever topic that you bring up. Let's see, calm guy. Depending upon how well this team develops and who we get in the offseason, this team may shock us and make it to the finals. Woo, as a third seed, as you said, Kaz. But everything else, I'm not scared of facts. That's why I also want the deep Pistons to get Jabari Smith Jr. In the offseason. I think if they package someone like Malik Beasley, Fontecchio, and then may even have to figure out some of Tobias Harris, but if they can package some of those vets and then use their cap space to then bring in a Jabari Smith Jr. With like a 20, somewhere between 21 and 25 million a year deal, I think they can get Jabari Smith Jr. Because I also think they can re-sign Ivy this year for somewhere around 22 a year. For let's say, I would say 4 years with the last year a team option. And then I would re-sign Duren this year for sure. Re-sign Duren. We're going to get to Duren. We're going to have a Duren live probably tomorrow. So look out. It's going to be interactive like this as well. Smash the like button for me if you're enjoying the interaction and conversation so far. But what do you think this Pistons team can be next year with Ivy coming back? But if they can get somebody like Jabari Smith Jr. this off season, I think they step to that realm as a real contender. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be dead ass honest with y'all. If they can get Jabari Smith Jr., I will see the contender. 100%. Jabari Smith Jr. like adding Rasheed Wallace to that '04 Pistons. It would be that. It would be that. His shooting, his defensive acumen, his versatility to be able to defend the rim and other opposing bigs, and that switchability between Duren, Jabari Smith Jr., and Ausar Thompson, what they'll be able to do. It's just this team will have so many mechanisms to them. It was just shut it down. Let me see. Next year, third seed. Okay, absolutely. Next year with Duren improving. I think Jabari over Tomardo Jr. would be massive, massive, massive. If the Detroit Pistons were to add a Jabari Smith Jr., massive move. That would be the equivalent of like OKC adding Hartenstein. All of a sudden, it just changes how you look at them. It just changes how you look at that team. With the SAR current development rate, if he just adds a minimum of a consistent pull-up midi, things could get scary. Facts. But I even think, I'm going to be honest, where he's at right now, the way he's trending right now, he is looking like I said before, somewhere between Sean Marion and Andre Iguodala. It's not even about the points that he scores. Right now, gravity on the court that opens things up for everyone else. For the shooters, Tobias Harris and Duren, lobs, kickouts to Tobias and Cade and Beasley, Tomardo. He creates so many open looks. And when you have a secondary guy alongside of a Cade Cunningham, what you see now is Cade is able to rest with aims. And so he's not burning himself out as much. So when he gets to the fourth quarter, he still has his legs. He still has that takeover gene. And when you look at even when shots are dropping, which if you notice, shots have not been dropping at the same rate over the last couple of games. They have not been hitting threes at the same rate. Beasley's has been doing all right, but it hasn't been like this huge volume three-point shooting. It's actually been their defense and ability to get into transition, which I said in this offseason. I said their ability to add Assar Thompson to the starting lineup will increase their offensive efficiency because they can get out in transition and get easy looks at the rim. getting to the free throw line more, getting fouls in them in foul trouble, which impacts the level of pressure they can apply on defense, making the game far more easy for this Detroit Pistons offense, not having to set up in the half court all the time, which also lends to minimizing Cade Cunningham's turnovers. All ripple effect. Great defense has a ripple effect, just like we saw with the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl. When you can rush four and get to the quarterback, when you can get pressure with just four and drop back seven, defense is cakewalk. It's downhill from there. I got that right from my man Bomani Jones. When you can rush four and drop seven, it's all downhill. When you can contain at half court two really high level perimeter defenders and turn the ball over, but it doesn't even get to the paint. It doesn't even get to the paint. When you're causing turnovers and transition at that rate, yo, you're just downhill. You're downhill. Fast break layups, free throws, layups, wide open threes. You're in your early offense constantly. The question I'm at in the chat is, what do you think the ceiling is for this team next season with Jaden Ivey's return, taking likely Tim Hardaway Jr.'s spot? Let me see. Dominique Asserns, current development. Yeah, I already said that. Dante. I like the idea of Jabari Smith. I think he approaches the offseason locked in. I do too. I also think a Jarris Walker would be a good fit, possibly cheap. So some of y'all remember this. I had to eat it early. I ate it early. I wanted the Pistons to get over anyone else in that draft. I didn't know about Assar Thompson back then. I'm gonna be honest. I did not know about him. I found out later he's from Oakland. He's from the Bay Area where I'm in California, East Bay. Shout out to the town. And him and his brother went down to Florida, played in Overtime Elite, balled out, got drafted 4 and 5. Amazing talents. Now I'm recognizing big difference. Jarris Walker is still a maker though too. Jarris Walker is a difference maker. I think Jarris Walker has some Jimmy Butler capacity, but I think he needs to get out of Indiana. Someplace that could play him at that forward position full time and not small forward, power. He's looking like our Jaylen Brown. Yeah. I do think Assar is looking like our Jaylen Brown. Yeah. His scoring isn't, I should look at. We have a higher offensive rating with Assar starts. We're going to scare whoever we play in the playoffs. Facts. This is so exciting. Facts. Dominique, the training the Thompson twins have done since being kids, studied. So I got a chance to meet the uncle. Because you know that actually that's how I found out it was from the Bay. Got a chance to meet the uncle in this restaurant. He was talking to me about him. These boys have been training because they're old. They have an older brother, similar to like a Michael Jordan situation. An older brother who could hoop, and he was like, "Yo, I'm about to put belt to ass all the time to whoop y'all, and y'all gonna have to compete against me." But they also competed against each other, and having competition within that siblingship elevates your game. You're constantly looking at your competition. You're not thinking about a famous quote from Kobe, like, the reason why I work so hard because I always imagined there was somebody that I didn't know was out there who was working whenever I stopped working. He imagined there was somebody else grinding, putting up shots, working on the handle, working on moves whenever he stopped working. And so that's why he was always grinding. But with the Thompson twins, they know who's grinding right next to him. Talking trash to them at the dinner table every single time. So they were constantly looking at their competition right there. That's why they're like this. They're not even worried about the league. They're doing this with each other. That's why they're so locked in. It definitely has to be studied. There's also a documentary about Overtime Elite. I forget, it's on Amazon Prime or something like that. Great documentary. Really interesting. And why they chose the Thompson twins to focus that program on. Transition Pistons, facts. Jabari would be dope. Facts. Tony Headhunter, my man, Assar and Ivy change our matches against the Pacers backcourt. Facts. Bro, but be honest, man, by the time this team gets to the playoffs, even this year, what Assar and Cade are doing, how Jalen Duren is developing, another live coming soon on Jalen Duren. This team is going to be lights out. It's going to be lights out in the playoffs. There's no other two teams that have that much gravity outside of like Boston maybe Cleveland. Cleveland has some really, bro, between Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, now Evan Mobley, Jarrett Allen, that whole, and then with DeAndre Hunter now coming off, that whole thing with a Max Drew shooter, Cleveland might be headed to the NBA Finals, to be honest. They might be headed to the NBA Finals. If they're healthy going into the playoffs, and it really sucks for JB to have done so much to put that team together. And knowing that they were a Donovan Mitchell away, Evan Mobley elevation away, for them to fire him, knowing that it wasn't him, as we were just waiting on Evan Mobley to kick in, which we knew he was going to do in year 4. That's that racist shit. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. It happens a lot a lot. People don't realize that they mix in a black coach who builds up a team, and then they bring in somebody else right as it's about to elevate. It's really messed up. For me, my heart went out to JB because he put in to develop that team, put in work to develop Garland, even that pick roll and all of it. I feel bad for him, but I would love, for Detroit to get Cleveland in the first round and knock them boys out, or take them to 7. I'll take either. This team is going to be they're playing with so much house money right now. There's really no pressure. It's all house money. And when Ivy gets back next year, it is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be ridiculous. Let me see. Rome, my man. Dante, let me get to Dante's comment first. He's not a good fit in Indiana. Juris Walker's defense, work well alongside our guys. But Jabari is still a better shooter at the moment. He's only a really good shooter. He's a better shooter than Assar. Nowhere near the athlete. He doesn't have the same gravity. But you know what? What I loved about Juris Walker, that he plays, his style of play. He reminds me of, remember like a Anthony Mason? He's more in shape, where he was able to shoot it, he was able to round, he was able to defend, he was able to facilitate. And his versatility was so uncanny, like you just, at that size, but he's in shape. He was never really in shape. He was in that bruiser type of role. Juris Walker, though, man, if he was someplace else, bro, you'd be talking about him like we talk about Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes is a good comparison for Juris Walker. 100%. He just lucked out and got drafted by the Pacers, who also brought in Pascal Siakam, who's an all-NBA forward. Really sucks. But I would be trying to trade. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm Detroit, I would trade my first-round draft pick. I would trade a first-round draft pick for Juris Walker or Jabari Smith Jr. I would have no problem doing that. None. For the simple fact that you're no longer in the developmental stage. Anyone that you get now in the draft, being in the playoffs, you're drafting them in the 20s. You're getting a veteran college player at that point. Not even drafting for potential anymore. You're going to get a veteran college player who you hope can be a rotation guy at the end of the year at best. Why not just use that pick? Save that salary cap. Go get it. Go get someone else who contribute at a high level right now for the future, for the next 4 or 5 years. For the next 4 or 5 years. Let me get to some of these other comments. Juris Walker's definitely a better shooter. Jerome, do we play the Pacers one more time, or are we done? Actually, no. That's something good for somebody to look up. Do we play the Pacers again? I'd be really interested to see that. I want to see them one more time and win before the playoffs, just to be in their head a little. You know what? I'll be honest. I think we're already in their head. I think the Pacers see us behind them. We're in their division. We're in their backyard. They see us. They gotta see us. And we're keeping pace with them. They're winning, we're winning. They're winning, we're winning. They're winning, we're winning. They're winning, we're winning. Milwaukee's not winning. All of a sudden they're dropping. Pacers keep winning. We keep winning. They're like, we're doing this. They see us. They look in those standards. They know what's going on. Everything you said about the Pistons is unraveling, like you've seen the future. Bro, when I used to coach basketball, so I coached, I did everything from like second graders all the way through college, a local community college. But my thing was always development. And so how my brain works is I'm able to infer how someone can go from one point to the next. How do you connect? How do you develop? How do you environment or a set of drills and skill development and tools to get someone to the next level and the next level and the next level that maximizes their potential. So when I see teams, I don't really care about wins and losses. I love development. I love how people develop. Hate for J, yeah, hate it for J, love it for us. I know for sure. I mean, y'all saw the moment JB got let go. Trajan was the first one on the phone. First one, he was like, hey, bro, hey, got this opportunity right here, right now. Right here, right now. Developing team, bro, you can get in on this. He took advantage of it. He took advantage of it. The question I'm asking everybody is, what do you think the ceiling is for this Detroit Pistons team next season with Jaden Ivey's return? Put it in the comment section. I'm definitely responding. And if you're enjoying this chat, definitely smash that like button for me. And if you want to pose a topic of conversation, just drop a super chat. Who do you think will be the Pistons' biggest opposition over the next 5 to 7 years? Boston, New York, Cleveland, Indiana, or Orlando? I'm going to be honest. It's Detroit. It's Detroit. I don't think there is opposition. It's about Detroit has their stuff together, healthy, locked in, playing to the best of their abilities. They're as good as anybody. Like Boston's going to fall off. You know why Boston's going to fall off? Because Drew Holiday is at the end of his career in the next couple seasons. Really, he's done. Pretty kind of done. Him and Al Horford, two major components of their team, are done. But they're still there because they're on this run. Or the foreseeable future. Once one of those two guys retires, this team's going to go. You're going to see it. You're going to see it. Kristaps Porzingis, they're paying him a lot of money, and he's never consistently healthy. New York, I'm not a believer in OG Anunoby staying healthy. Karl Anthony Towns being a real leader. Mitchell Robinson healthy. I like Mikal Bridges, but it's like like those guys, we've already that team. I'm not sold. I'm not sold. They have great performances, but a 7-game series, I gotta see it. Cleveland, I could see being right there because Evan Mobley's going to keep ascending. Evan Mobley's going to end up something between Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan. Kid you not. Low 20s points per game, double-digit rebounds, block steals, but also his efficiency and his ability to dominate. When he starts dominating and becomes that clear number 2 next to Donovan Mitchell, in fact, it might become between Garland, Mitchell, and Mobley. It's going to look a lot like Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu Ginobili. It's going to look real close to that. But the thing is with Cleveland, what really caps them is their backcourt doesn't play defense, and they're really small. They got 6'1" and 6'1", 6'1" and 6'2", and neither of them are defenders, which means that they're going to get bully balled. And as much as Mobley and Jared Allen can help, I think they can be, you can figure them out. But they're going to be good. They're going to be right. They're going to be at the top of the East for the foreseeable future. So I think that's probably to their competition. Orlando, I'm not sold on Orlando. And it's just a great question over the next 5 to 7 years. Dominique Davis asked, who do you see them being the Pistons' biggest opposition? Boston, New York, Cleveland, Indiana, or Orlando? Indiana, they're going to have some cap issues. They don't want to go over the cap. And they're not really positioned talent, too many duplicates where the Pistons fit. These guys fit, which means that you don't have to spend a lot to get a major need met elsewhere. You don't have to go out and get the 3-and-D guy. You don't have to go out and get a facilitator or the playmaker or the shot creator. You already have that within your core. They have so many things checked off. The rest of it can just be, let's just get some solid veterans in here to play roles. But we have our guys. And I said that last offseason. I said, the guys who are going to elevate this team from what they were last year are already on the team. Go back and check the video. I'll drop them in there. They're already on the team. And we've seen it. Cade, Assar, Ivy. Now Duran stepping it up. Video coming soon. Yo, I do got to get out of here soon. I'm going to take a few moments and questions. Orlando, I'm not too sold on Orlando because the team doesn't fit. Similar to Indiana, they duplicate each other too much. And they have they have a major hole at point guard where they do not have a true facilitator. And so Franz Wagner does better scoring for this team because he operates in flow. He's not an ISO guy. He's not a guy who's going to be your big time shot creator in high leverage moments, Carroll. But Ben Carroll's shot quality is so low. It's so low. He doesn't have somebody who makes the game easier for him, which they still need, that facilitator who can break down the defense. They should have went after De'Aaron Fox. They didn't. I think they need somebody like a Darius Garland type of a talent. They might be well suited to get a Fred VanVleet. I don't know. Somebody of that type of ilk who can get guys the ball, get them in place. Toronto going to be scared. I'm going to be honest. Slept on squad. When they're healthy, Toronto's going to be right there when healthy. I think the team that might take the biggest stack is Indiana if they can't figure themselves out. They can't figure out roster configuration. A lot of it is also health. They have a lot of talent. They also have a lot of duplicates, and free agency is going to really hit them hard because who do you resign? Gave Andrew Nembhard money, but then you have Benedict Mathurin able to resign this offseason and is going to be a free agent next year. I think he's going to bet on himself. You got guys like Jarris Walker in a few years going to be a free agent sitting behind Pascal Siakam. You still got Obi Toppin, right? You still got these duplicates behind, and that doesn't bode well. And then you got to re-sign Miles Turner this offseason and be somewhat capped out between Halliburton, Pascal, and Turner. So how do you, and then you got Aaron Nesmith, who's going to be due for a contract extension. You got all these different contracts, and you got to figure it out. They are due for a consolidation trade. Completely. Indiana is due, and they're going to have to figure that out. So we won't really know their final form until they do that. JB won't win it, but Coach of the Year talk. I think I don't know how he doesn't win Coach of the Year. Finishing as a 6th seed, they were the worst team in the NBA last year. You're the 6th seed. If they get to the 5th seed, and we may have to do a video on that, but probably close to the end of the season, it almost has to be Coach of the Year. If you get a team to be from the worst to a 6th seed in the playoffs, not even playing, that is absolutely monstrous. Bringing this team together, creating a culture, creating a system, getting the most out of guys, develop. What he is doing is just, it's unheard of. It's unheard of. Toronto going to be scary for sure. I think, when they get all their starters in a line, that team is, they fit quickly next to Barrett. Great chemistry already. Plenty of shooting. You got, what's his name? Brandon Ingram. Shot creator, shot maker. Between him, RJ Barrett, primary shot creators, playmaking for one another. Scotty Barnes goes into a more tertiary Scottie Pippen role, getting everybody involved, being the Swiss Army knife, doing all these different things. Quickly becomes more 3-and-D, facilitating and playing off the ball with Ingram and Barrett, creating shot opportunities for others. You're going to see a lot of minutes staggered, doing a lot of different things. Darko's really going to have to kick in, or they're going to bring somebody else in quickly. And then with Jakob Porto holding down the middle, we saw what he was able to do for stretches. I think we see a return to that. Toronto is going to be absolutely scary next year when they get healthy. Last couple comments. Looking at Cleveland offense this year versus last year and Detroit's this year, it's more than just Mo. Atkinson is a better offensive coach than JB. I don't think that they number one offense with JB. I'm going to be honest, what it also is Evan Mobley's ascension. Evan Mobley going from a guy who's just a part of the crew to now demanding the ball and looking like KG. Remember, they were number last year when they were healthy. People forget that. They were a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference last year when they were healthy. They only dropped down because Donovan Mitchell got hurt. And then Jared Allen got hurt, and Mobley, everybody had a bunch of injuries. So the idea that with Evan Mobley's ascent and improved continuity and health, they could get to a number 1 seed, that's not a big jump to me. That's not a big jump. And so Atkinson maybe brought some new wrinkles, but part of that is also your roster. If you're not healthy, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, So, but I'm not going to take anything away from Atkinson. I just think JB Needs to get more credit. But, you know, hey, blessing for the Pistons. Blessings for the Pistons. We're done unless we play them in the playoffs. We're done unless we play them in the playoffs. I mean, I think Detroit, whoever they get in the playoffs, is going to be terrified. It's going to be terrified because Pistons are playing with house money. We got about 2.5 more minutes. Get your questions and comments in. Try to get to them all. Appreciate your skills and knowledge, bro. I appreciate you too, Tony. Man, you've been rocking with me for a while. Definitely love all the love and appreciation and support. I definitely try to keep an eye out for y'all who've been rocking with me. Jerome, everybody here remember April in the D in the 2000s. Looks like it's back. Bro. I don't trust cats on either. Atlanta's drafted themselves into a team that's too big. Yeah, Pacers right out of Halliburton. Because yep, Cleveland are the guys I'm looking at. Yeah, and Toronto. Cleveland and Toronto are probably the best put together teams that complement each other somewhat. But I think Cleveland advantage of in terms of the lack of size in the backcourt. Toronto, if they ever get healthy, and Orlando just they're trying to create that Tatum and Brown thing, but they don't have the Drew Holiday. Maybe Jalen Suggs is Drew Holiday, but they don't have a Derek White. They don't. I think if they can switch out KCP for another facilitating guy who can also knock down threes, and have two facilitators with Jalen Suggs and another guy, I think that can help a lot more. Facilitator. Love the channel. I remember since this awesome. Yeah, boy, what's good? Last couple comments before I hop off. Toronto is underrated completely. Please tell Cade to pass the ball when the half court trap. I know, bro. I know. But I think somebody's got time. The problem is when you know you could beat people all the time, it's hard to know when to give it up. Superstar, appreciate you. All right, y'all. I'ma hop off. What's Assar ceiling? You're gonna have to watch this video again. We went deep into it. Y'all appreciate all the love showing out. Great conversation. I can't wait for the next one. We're gonna talk about Jalen Duren. It's time to reassess Jalen Duren. But for now, it's your man 100 Grand Ross. But the rock never stops. Appreciate y'all for dropping in. I'm gonna get at y'all next time. Peace.